Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the show. It's great to have all of you with us again tonight. Well, you know the saying, tourism is everybody's business. That means every Bahamian literally has a role to play in the success of our #1 industry. That is, of course, tourism. Here's why. The Bahamas remains one of the most desired destinations in the Caribbean for visitors. Tourism Director General Latia Duncombe, that is, revealed at the recent Cat Island Business Outlook that some 8.4 million tourists have visited the Bahamas up to September. Get that, 8.4 this year alone. And tourism officials aren't ashamed but tell you they're actually hoping to propel that number to 12 million visitors. Now, the man leading this effort is the Honorable I. Chester Cooper. Tonight, he's the country's acting prime minister, well, all week, but his substantive cabinet portfolio comprises the heavy-hitting agencies of tourism, investments, and aviation. In addition to being Deputy Prime Minister, he's joining us tonight to discuss the way forward for tourism, why the Bahamas is such an attractive tourism destination, how they're going to transform it even further, what can we do to even be a part of that transformation. Also talk about some of the other portfolios he's responsible for. What are some of the concerns there as well? We also want to lay it out for the Bahamas investment plan so you know what's happening on investments, because he's
Hardware is the helpful place. Everything you need under one roof, from electrical, paint, plumbing, outdoor, barbecue, automotive, lawn and garden, pet supply, houseware, and seasons. Hurricane season is now here, so for all your hurricane needs, we have a 25% off bargain zone.
Hey, thanks. I would have given more stuff, but I didn't bring my money. I thought this was a club, and I thought everything was free. Finally know what it is now. Ace.
We're located on St. Albans Drive, West Bay Street, open Monday to Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and closed for lunch 2 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Our company offers a simple philosophy, open hands. What do open hands mean? If you keep your hands closed, nothing comes in, nothing goes out. If you keep your hands open, a lot of things comes in, a lot of things goes out. We cannot expect to be a successful company without blessing our community and blessing our country.
My good friend and valued client, Dominic Stirrup, approached me following a meeting we had and told me of the idea that he had of feeding 10,000 Bahamians on Thanksgiving.
There was a lot of details to put together, had to figure out how to get it done, but at the end, it was worth it. At the end, it gave me a heart of gratitude to know that our company is reaching out to so many persons.
We invite you on a journey to witness an extraordinary chapter in the story of the Bahamas Striping Group of Companies, a tale of compassion, unity, and the true spirit of Thanksgiving.
Welcome back to the rundown. We apologize for the audio challenges before the break. But what I really was doing was talking about who my guest is and what the portfolios are and a lot of the things that we're going to talk about tonight. So we're not going to waste any time recapping that. We're going to just go ahead and introduce the acting prime minister, the Honorable I. Chester Cooper, who is, of course, the Minister of Tourism, Investments, Aviation, has responsibility for Bahamas Air, Member of Parliament for Exuma and Ragged Island. Pretty much he does a lot. And he's here on the rundown, and we're so happy to have the Deputy Prime Minister, who is the acting prime minister in the country this week. Sir, welcome to the rundown. It's great to have you with us.
It's good to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's always great to start out talking about tourism because it's one of the success stories that we continue to see. Congratulations to the work that you and your team have been able to put in tourism, and we're now reaping the rewards of it. How is tourism looking overseas for the Bahamas?
Well, we're doing very well. And before I get into that, I want to thank the people of Exumas and Ragged Island for giving me this opportunity to serve at a national level. Our brand is very strong. The world still know and love the Bahamas as a great destination. We still have that magnificent proximity that cannot be duplicated. And the world really loves our product. And we've gone beyond sun, sand, and sea. We're now focusing heavily on our culture, festivals, regattas, heritage tourism, and of course sports has become a key plank in what we're doing. But our numbers speak for themselves. We had a record-setting year in 2023 with 10 million arrivals. This year we are on par or hopefully better than 2023. And we're looking forward to announcing these results at the end of the year. We've had some bumps in the road. We've had Hurricane Milton, Hurricane Oscar, and of course the U.S. elections that put a damper on our main source market, the USA. Most of our guests still come from the USA. But we're expanding all around the world. We're getting great traction in some of our emerging markets. In Europe, we're making inroads into the Middle East in some respect, and of course in Central and South America as well. So we're very positive about the future.
What is attracting people to the Bahamas? Is it because it's a destination that people want to experience for themselves, or is it because there's something we're promoting that's causing people to want to come and see it?
Over the years, we've built a very strong brand. And I want to say a special thanks to Team Tourism, past and present. Today we had an opportunity to really recognize some of our retirees. And tourism truly has been the lifeblood, and they've done a great job at building it. We've done a strategic marketing push in 2023 that led us on missions to more than 16 cities in the USA and elsewhere around the world. Telling the message of the Bahamas that we're open for business, and we have sun, sand, and sea. We have that turquoise blue waters, but we have so much more. We've invited them to come and see the beauty and the allure of our islands, and they're taking us up on it. We've deployed strategic measures in terms of marketing, creating new content, telling the story of the islands of the Bahamas, promoting all 16 of our major island destinations, letting the world know that we are Nassau Paradise Island for a cosmopolitan lifestyle, casinos and restaurants and the high life, but we're so much more. And I think the message is resonating. We're seeing growth all across the islands of the Bahamas, in Exuma and Abaco and Rumkey and Anagua, and all of the 16 destinations. So I think promoting the concept of being an archipelago within the archipelago of the Caribbean has really given us an edge over what any other destination can offer.
Because you can keep visiting the Bahamas over and over and have a different experience every time at a different island.
Absolutely, 700 islands, we promote 16 of them. We've pushed the connectivity between the islands with Bahamas Air and ferry services, etc., but we have great airlift as well. We have direct non-stop services to more than 25 destinations in the USA. We're continuing to build on that airlift. We have great partners with hotels and airlines and promotion boards. We have great sports partnerships as well. Love them or hate them, we have a partnership with the Dallas Cowboys. We have a partnership with the Miami Hurricanes. We continue to develop these relationships, because whether the team is winning or not, the fans want to come and see the Bahamas. So we've invited the cheerleaders of the Dallas Cowboys to come down. You should see that on Netflix soon. We're doing some creative things, and we're getting good traction in the marketplace.
What do you say to people who say, well, these numbers are being driven pretty much by cruise passengers, cruise ports, people who are not spending much, their spend is low, and so at the end of the day, it's not trickling down to the entrepreneurs and the people who are working in the industry? What do you say to that?
Firstly, we confirm that 75% or higher, between 75 and 80, comes from cruise. So the numbers speak for themselves. Secondly, we want the world to know that, yes, we encourage higher spending stopover visitors, and we want more and more. And we've deployed strategies to ensure that we consistently increase the level of stopover guests to our shores. But we are constrained by limitations in room capacity.
Right.
2023, we had a record-setting year in stopover arrivals. 2024, we're beating stopovers of 2023.
So we're seeing it go up.
We're growing consistently, but we're plateaued. The growth level, the acceleration of that growth has slowed because we're at full capacity. I told one critic the other day in the House of Assembly, when your glass is almost full, you can't hold much more water, right, can you? And this is where we find ourselves, and this is why we're focused heavily on new inventory, foreign direct investment, domestic investment, trying to get some of these projects out of the pipeline. We're encouraging Bahamians to build hotels. We're encouraging Bahamians to get involved with vacation rentals. The Tourism Development Corporation has put on a promotion for vacation rentals. We have roughly 5,000 listings in the Bahamas on Airbnb and many, many more on the other booking engines. So vacation rentals are really picking up the slack. But let's be clear about cruise. Our guests tell us that they want more to see and do and buy. So we have an amazing opportunity really to leverage the arrivals of the 8 million tourists that we see come by cruise. And it's up to entrepreneurs in the Bahamas really to see how we might create those experiences, create retail opportunities, create entertainment possibilities on Bay Street. Disney, for example, tell us that there's not much for families to see or do on Bay Street. So I see this as an opportunity, notwithstanding the total spend from cruise visitors exceed $1 billion, notwithstanding that in addition to the spend, the country earned money from customs and VAT and departure tax and business services like tug services and ferry services and many, many more services that's provided to the cruise ship itself. So the economic benefit is actually greater.
So perhaps maybe we're looking in the wrong places for the economic. We're still thinking the straw vendors, the taxi drivers who may get something, but there's even greater spend because of these other companies who are involved in the cruise sector who obviously are capitalizing.
Well, let's be clear. Many straw vendors, taxi drivers, hair braiders, retail shop operators have sent their children to college on cruise ship.
Something's working.
On cruise ship money. and when I speak with some of the entrepreneurs in the Nassau Cruise Port, they're seeing some of their best days ever. Now, there are some people who are reporting that they're not feeling what they call the trickle-down of the spending. And we're doing a lot on Bay Street itself. We're working along with the vendors to ensure that the products are enhanced, that when you walk into the straw market, everyone is not selling the same thing. We're creating payment opportunities for digital transactions for persons who may not bring cash on shore. We're creating opportunities like Smart City to help to promote businesses in the downtown area with free or inexpensive internet services. We've worked with local entrepreneurs in the tech space to launch a new app called Street Smart 242 that help really to drive traffic to the vendors on Bay Street. But we are doing much more than that. We are actively engaged in helping to create authentic products for our guests. We've launched a pilot program on the eastern end of Bay Street. It's a part of our incubation program, 5 doors east of East Street on Bay Street, a magnificent incubation center where we work with more than 12 entrepreneurs right there. And what the beauty of this is that we have entrepreneurs who worked from home for the last 19 years now have a storefront on Bay Street. So it warms my heart to see the economic empowerment possibilities of tourism. And, you know, I consistently say that tourism has been, and will continue to be in our lifetime the main driver of our economy, the main industry, the lifeblood of our country, and therefore we must consistently do more to enhance it. You said at the beginning, tourism is everyone's business. Yeah. So we can bring the numbers as we've been doing, more than 30 1,000 a day. We count on Bahamians to engage, to get involved. We're doing a lot ourselves to bridge the divide between the cruise ships and the entrepreneurs. We have provided insurance services where vendors may not have been able to find it. We're giving guidance and technical support. We're letting entrepreneurs know what the guests want. We're giving the feedback. If we have feedback on individual businesses, we provide that as well. So we are in overdrive. We are very excited about the possibilities of tourism, and we invite the Bahamian people to continue to leverage it as a source of wealth creation.
How is the redevelopment happening downtown? Is it still moving ahead?
Downtown has been a source of great concern for the Bahamian people for decades. So let me firstly say that the decay that we see downtown has been occurring for the last 30, maybe 40 years. We're working to bring back the old Nassau charm, and we've started not by engaging more studies. We are beginning to implement some of the quick wins, regular cleaning, garbage collection, fighting rodents, putting down new signage and garbage bins. The very basic things we've started to do. You know, we've demolished more than 9 buildings of dilapidated structures downtown, and on many of these structures we're now putting murals. I see a beautiful turtle going up on one of these structures right now. You should expect to see more of this. We're working along with the creative community. When you go downtown next time, you will hopefully hear and feel a buzz of Bahamian musicians everywhere playing Bahamian music.
I saw it online, the applications for people who have single instruments who can perform in various locations. That should be interesting.
We're launching great programs, and there's much more. We have a lot more to do. We're working along with the stakeholders, the property owners. Many of them have been extremely cooperative. Many of them have been working to improve their storefronts and paint their buildings. We have a longer-term vision as well. We hope to engage more the stakeholders more, as well as the overall public, to give some general guidance as to where we're going with the renaissance of downtown. We need more entertainment. We need more restaurants. We hope to attract more residences, small boutique resorts. We hope that it will become a living city. We hope ultimately to be able to create enough of an entertainment buzz downtown to attract cruise ships to stay later at night or to stay overnight. We are actively working with Jamal Roll, His Excellency, and the art community. We're going to be creating a mini art district downtown, but there's a lot more to do, and we're actively engaged with all of the stakeholders. We have a very motivated team on this project, and I hope over the course of time the Bahamian people will see our work and be very proud of what we are able to achieve together in the downtown district.
I want to get to other questions in here on tourism before we go to a break, and one obviously is we've seen a burst in the Airbnb industry. Everybody has an Airbnb. A lot of our people can't rent apartments to live in because people are preserving them to rent on Airbnb. Are we seeing the kind of growth that we anticipated in that sector?
This is a bit of a conundrum, and the people of Exuma complain about not being able to find long-term rentals. So what we're seeking to do is build more houses. So this challenge we're hoping to turn into an opportunity. I'm working along with the Honorable Minister responsible for housing, Minister Bell, to build some affordable homes on the island of Exuma. We must consistently do this all across the country, as we've started to do already. But the vacation rental business is really bridging a shortage of hotel room inventory. As I mentioned earlier, it's an opportunity to create wealth. It's an opportunity to really send the tourism business to small communities all across the Bahamas. Imagine tourists coming to our shores and rather than staying at Sandals and Exuma, they're staying in Rollville or Forbes Hill or one of the other small communities, interacting with the real people, eating at the small restaurant in that community.
Shopping at the mom and pop shops, grocery
shopping at the
stores.
mom and pop, talking with the natives and having a people-to-people experience. It's an opportunity really for us to show the world our heart. We talk about the warmth and the hospitable nature of our people. I believe the vacation rental business has given us not just an opportunity for individuals to earn money by being in the business, creating wealth, but an opportunity for us really to focus on what we have called community-based tourism.
Last, before we go to the break, Grand Bahama, tourism. How are you feeling about tourism in Grand Bahama?
Very optimistic. For a long, long time, I think there's more going on in the economy of Grand Bahama now than any time that I can remember. In terms of the statistics over and beyond my subjective optimism, it's supported by the data. Airlift is growing faster in Grand Bahama than any other island in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, matched only by Abaco. And we're seeing a keen, renewed interest in Grand Bahama. We see the return of American Airlines with increased capacity. We anticipate new airlift to Grand Bahama soon. Importantly, though, we have Carnival Cruise Lines who are building their largest port anywhere in the world, $700 million of real investment going into the ground. We're already seeing employment as a result. We see business opportunities, contractors engaging and hiring small business persons, whether they're in the food business or whether they're renting apartments. They're looking now to engage new vendors. Beginning 2025, we expect by 2027, they're going to have 2 million guests arrive in Grand Bahama. Imagine now we have 600,000 and in 2027, 2 million. So we're seeing some significant progress, some significant new interests and new investments in the island of Grand Bahama. We see new projects like the ITM, RCL, MSC Group, building another port in Grand Bahama and significant new investment in hotel resorts as well. I'm extremely positive about the future. I know there's been a lot of talk and buzz about the Grand Lucayan Resort. We're making steady progress, and I know you will ask, so let me tell you that when the money is in the bank, we're going to make a statement.
I keep hearing that statement. When the money is in the bank, we will make a statement.
Yes,
I keep hearing that.
But we're making steady progress.
All right. Well, thank you for talking about us in tourism. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about investments and aviation and some things happening on that side. We'll talk about that. You're watching The Rundown with the Acting Prime Minister. We're back after this. Stay close.
Hardware is the helpful place. Everything you need under one roof, from electrical, paint, plumbing, outdoor, barbecue, automotive, lawn and garden, pet supply, houseware, and seasons. Hurricane season is now here, so for all your hurricane needs, we have a 25% off bargain zone.
Hey, thanks. I would have given more stuff, but I didn't bring my money. I thought this was a club, and I thought everything was free. Finally know what it is now. Ace.
We're located on St. Albans Drive, West Bay Street. Open Monday to Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and closed for lunch 2 p.m. to 3 p.m.
It's the battle of the brains, 20 years strong and still going. Powered by Grand Bahama Power, fueling the future with scholarships and new opportunities.
I'm Leanna Johns. I'm from LAS, and I want to say thank you to Grand Bahama Power and to Buckeye for giving us this opportunity.
I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Grand Bahama Power Company and Buckeye for providing us the opportunity to get a scholarship.
The Battle of the Brains, where school pride meets genius.
Welcome back to the Rundown. My guest tonight is the Acting Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister I. Chester Cooper, Minister of Tourism, Investments, Aviation, responsibility for Bahamas there, Member of Parliament for Exuma and Ragged Island. Am I leaving out anything? My goodness, when you have time to sleep.
Honored to be able to serve the Bahamian people.
Boy, I tell you. We had a very good discussion on tourism before that break. I want to kind of move over now to investments, because this is where it springs the capital of quote-unquote success, whether the economy is doing good, whether we're attracting people to invest in the economy, and whether it really translates to money in the bank and food on the tables of Bahamians. The administration has been touting billions of dollars in investment. However, do you believe the billions of dollars in investments are passing through to the Bahamians every day, being impacted and being touched and seeing the success of it?
Well, let me tell you that we have attracted over the last 2.5 years more than $10 billion of new investments in various sectors. These investments are at differing phases of their development. I talked earlier about Carnival Project, $700 million in Grand Bahama, where shovel is in the ground, people are employed, and people are making money. We have another $600 million Grand Bahama Shipyard. Work is underway. Torch Key in Exuma are employing scores of Bahamians. We've seen the reopening of the British Colonial, and more than 300 Bahamians are employed. So when we talk about these investments, there are some still in the pipeline. We have 2 years to bring them out of the pipeline. So where we have shovel in the ground, where we've had openings, just ask the employees, just ask the business people. They're feeling the impact of these developments. But let me tell you that I firmly believe that foreign direct investment is the fastest way to grow the economy. I maintain this. And I believe if we are able to continue to inspire the confidence in the world that we have been doing, we will consistently be able to achieve a 2.5%, 3% growth year over year. This will allow us to employ the students we are graduating. We'll be able to continue our infrastructural works. We'll be able to continue to build schools and clinics and docks and airports, and we'll be able to ensure that there's economic activity for Bahamians to benefit from. So when we talk about these investment projects, we certainly do not expect them all to come to fruition immediately.
Right.
But certainly we work steadily to ensure they bring the value and the economic benefit that we forecast.
You see a lot of upgrades happening on family violence, and this administration has adopted a model that it appears to them is working, which is the 3 Ps, private-public partnership. A good example would have been with Bahama Striping and the road works done in Exuma. Exuma looks completely brand new with the new roads. Bahama Striping and now in Eleuthera doing the same thing. Talk about that. How do you feel about that program? Is that allowing you to be able to bring greater development to family islands infrastructure without having to wait for capital?
Well, let me tell you that the development and the investment in infrastructure in the family islands is not by chance. The Prime Minister is a man from Cat Island. The Deputy Prime Minister, as you know, is from Exuma. The Minister of Works is from
Eleuthera.
And we promised the people all across the islands of the Bahamas that they will not be left out. We have deployed a similar strategy as it relates to tourism. We don't just promote Nassau Paradise Island, we promote the 16 island destinations. So this is not happening by chance. It's a part of the overall strategy of our government. Our islands are vast. The resources are limited, and therefore we must draw on the private sector to help us to develop these islands, to help us to build docks and roads and schools and clinics for the benefit of the Bahamian people to ensure that the people in Rumpke and Inagua and Maguana are getting adequate services. Connectivity with Bahamas Air is also important to ensure that they feel a part of the overall network of our country. So yes, we are doing PPPs. I think it's working effectively. You mentioned the roads in Exuma. Really, it blows the mind of someone who's visited Exuma 10 years ago to see the level of development and the transformation the roads themselves has given to the look and feel of the island. And I hope that we're going to see this real soon across the length and breadth of Eleuthera, as you referenced.
These are Bahamian companies doing the work, not foreign companies who have been given some international contract. Are you proud of the fact that Bahamian companies are doing this themselves?
Clint, you know, one of my mission is empowerment, and I feel very strongly as a former businessman to be able to see the development of entrepreneurship and entrepreneurs who look like us to be able to participate in the overall economy of the Bahamas. So our government don't just preach economic empowerment. We've been at the forefront of political empowerment. We've been at the forefront of creating institutions for social empowerment. And I'm very proud of what we're doing now as it relates to economic empowerment. The Tourism Development Corporation is at the forefront. We implemented a $2 per passenger levy. This will allow us to invest significantly in Bahamians. We see the SPDC doing some significant works. We see the Bahamas Development Bank now funded to the tune of $30 million through a partnership with the Afri-Exim Bank as a result of the building of international relationships abroad in emerging markets across Africa. We have gone above and beyond to create opportunities for Bahamians. And you mentioned the Bahamian companies doing the PPPs. We see new companies coming out of the ground every day. And we have done pitch programs to bring new ideas and new businesses. We have provided mentorship and technical support, and we will continue to do so.
You talked about the $2 levy fee that was introduced. How is that done? Are you seeing the return from that? Because people got concerned when it was first being introduced. You know, this is a new tax, a new fee. How has that worked?
If you imagine that we have 10 million visitors that come to the Bahamas a year, and you multiply that by $2, it gives you a good feel for the 20 to 24 million that we should put into a fund designed to impact Bahamians directly. And we've begun doing so through grants, and SBDC, for example, are giving loans and equity investment through the venture fund, and hopefully we'll see loans through the Bahamas Development Bank soon. And I hope that we will see more Bahamian enterprise like Bonefish Lodges across the islands, the creation of new experiences and investments even in other sectors. This week I had a quote from a Bahamian entrepreneur to solarize my home. So whilst we are making significant ground in terms of renewable energy at a macro level, we see new businesses coming out of the ground. And this is the mark of a growing economy when we see new entrepreneurs and new Bahamians creating wealth for themselves and their families.
One of the things the opposition leader who was here last night criticized the administration for was its handling of renewable energy and being able to lower the cost, saying that when the Progressive Party was in opposition, it touted that when it comes to office, it's going to reduce electricity. And he said the exact opposite happened. It went up maybe once or twice already for the backs of Bahamians. So he feels as though the administration is failing and that the bonds that were in place before, the hedging that could have been done, that was left in place by the previous administration, should have continued by this administration to find a way to reduce. Instead, he believes it botched that deal. Do you share that same view?
He's also said, in the face of the major $2 billion investments in Grand Bahama where he lives, that nothing is happening there, notwithstanding shovel in the ground. Let me warn you, Clint, that we are at the beginning of silly season. You ought to expect any number of silly comments on political mischief. So I want to warn the Bahamian people to be discerning as to what they hear and what they listen to. renewable energy has been a major push by the government. We have seen an RFP process, and we have seen the engagement of many companies to build renewable energy plants all across the Bahamas. We have 365 days of sunshine, and therefore there is significant opportunity that we are now leveraging during this administration. Pintard and his cabinet had 4.5 years to do so, and they did nothing with renewable energy. They did very little on all fronts, in fact. But let me just say that as it relates to BPL, we see movement. We see movement in the renewable energy space. And these things take time. There has to be plants built. And hopefully, as a result of the initiatives that we are putting in place, we will see some movement in the cost of electricity over the next 2 years.
We talk about investments into the economy. Do you project that will continue as we move forward? Is there that attraction for the Bahamas to invest?
Investor confidence is very strong. The Prime Minister, in his work internationally, has really helped to send the message that the Bahamas is here, and we are demanding our seat at the table on many fronts. In our missions abroad for investments and for tourism, we are warmly embraced by international investors, very enthusiastic about the possibilities and the opportunities in the Bahamas. We've gone beyond the traditional USA, Canada, UK countries, and we are building relationships in the Middle East. As you've seen, we have gotten funding for some of our key projects, namely the Nordi Luthra Airport. We're building tourism. We're getting new investments. We have seen some investments already from the Middle East. I've taken a special interest in this region. As we have seen in Africa, we're getting inquiries on a weekly, monthly basis of new entities. From Africa, we're looking to establish new airlift between Ghana direct to the Bahamas and to Nigeria as well. So we're opening new vistas. We are making big moves around the world, and they're paying off. We anticipate over the course of time that, notwithstanding we boast now of the 10 billion of new investments, there are some more in the pipeline that we can't talk about just yet. So we'll talk some and we'll keep some.
So you believe the criticism by the opposition of spending and traveling can easily be explained and justified?
I think we, in addition to the silly season reference that I made earlier, we see a high level of hypocrisy from the opposition. And we must be careful as the government of the day to stay focused on our mission. We have achieved a lot, and we will continue to press forward with the work that we have done. We have begun significant reforms. We've had a very aggressive legislative agenda. We're bringing into force the cannabis legislation, regenerative and longevity legislation, international properties legislation. We've brought in place various land reform initiatives. We've reformed the National Insurance Board. We've executed labor agreements and harmonized a space that's been fraught with protests during the 4.5 years of the Free National Movement's government. We are revitalizing Grand Bahama with $2 billion of new investments. We're building airports. We are growing tourism. We don't have time for Pintard and his criticisms. We're busy at work for the Bahamian people. We will continue to busy ourselves to show the value of our travel and the value of our work. Today, Prime Minister Davis is at COP speaking about climate change and climate mitigation and making the case for more funding for the Bahamas on favorable terms. Nation building is serious business, and we're not going to be deterred from the work that we are doing by narrow criticisms for political gain. There's a lot more that we must do over the course of the next 2 years, and we anticipate being very focused on delivering results for the Bahamian people in line with our blueprint for change. That's what we're focused on.
Let's fly on over to aviation. Get it? Fly on over to aviation.
I like it.
Okay, good. Let's talk about some of the updates for airports. Talk about what's happening with Family Island airports.
We have begun the process. We have completed Ragged Island and completed Great Harbor Key. Those are open and operational. We've signed the loan agreement with the Saudi Fund for Development for funding for Naughty Lustra, for Exuma, for Black Point. And I want to tell the people of Black Point that they are going to get their new airport.
Wow.
We are working with public-private partners. You've heard that we are continuing the development of the Grand Bahama International Airport in line with a progressive plan that we laid out with the Manchester Airport Group. This has been an aggressive push for 14 airports all across the islands of the Bahamas. We will see the completion of some of them, but we are going to, within this term, but we are going to endeavor to begin the work on most of them. We will see vertical coming out of the ground of Grand Bahama really soon. The work on the Exuma Airport, as I've indicated, is funded already and will begin soon. We're completing designs on Naughty Lustra that will go out to RFP this year, hopefully shoveling the grounds early next year. We've practically been caught behind the 8 ball in terms of the redevelopment of this infrastructure. The decay you've seen has happened over the last 30 years, and we have set an aggressive agenda in our blueprint for change to transform many of these airports.
Cat Island gets to airport as well.
Over the next 2 years. I'm coming to Cat Island because we see some amazing things happening there. The New Bight Airport is well underway. We're redoing the runway in New Bight as well. The airport in Arthurstown has already begun, and we're seeing investments to match in Cat Island. When you travel there, you feel and see a new buzz. The resorts that are primarily owned by Bahamians are doing well, but overall in aviation, we're seeing steady progress. We're working on additional airlift, and the airlift in aviation really is the oxygen for tourism, and the connectivity is extremely important, not just for tourism, but for our very way of life living in an archipelago. Bimini is underway. That work is already started on the air side. The land side works with the new terminal. There's been a contractor already engaged. We expect that work is going to be completed over the next 12 months. Much of the work that has already begun will be completed over the next 12 to 15 months, including the Exuma International Airport.
There's always been concern when we talk about airports, state of airports. We always see this one image that comes up. I think it's either in Meguana or about this, this shell of a airport terminal is standing there, sitting there. And I know that the concern is always, is there enough economic activity to put something there? But do we still consider the need to rid that particular structure and put something a little more dignified there?
Well, we have a beautiful little airport in Ragged Island where the population is less than 100. We must build and design what is needed for the island. And this is, in fact, what we've already done for Meguana. I mentioned having gone to RFP for Black Point. At the same time, we've gone to RFP for Meguana, a beautiful small airport we intend to build in the island of Meguana, as we will redo the Ragged Island model in Rum Key as well. So I talked about our push all across the Family Islands and not leaving out any Family Islands. We're doing this with airports as well.
Let's talk about regulations in general aviation particularly. We know that whenever there's an unfortunate incident in air, somebody's lives are lost, there's always a concern over are pilots regulated. In general aviation, are they licensed to be able to carry passengers for commercial use, or should they just be operating privately? Are there any reforms that you're looking at seeing happen through aviation, particularly with certification?
Aviation is a regulated business that's managed by the Civil Aviation Authority of the Bahamas. We've recently passed new legislation to upgrade the existing legal framework for the management of aviation. We recently underwent an audit of the FAA for the aviation industry, as you well know. And as a result of the work we've done and continue to do, we maintain a Category 1 standing in the world, which means that we will continue to be able to attract new airlines and new airlift. Bahamas Air and local airlines will continue to be able to expand their routes into the USA and around the Bahamas and expand their fleet. Let me say that we are often distressed whenever there is an aviation incident. And I can tell you that the Civil Aviation Department are, in fact, working on this issue. It's been a long, teething problem, and the magnificent team at Civil Aviation Authority Bahamas have this on their active radar. Of course, my thoughts and prayers go out to many individuals who have been impacted by accidents, particularly in Andros. I know many of them are looking for feedback on reports from the crash, etc. Unfortunately, the investigation elements fall within the Ministry of Transport, and these investigations take quite some time. But I had occasion to speak with some of the family, and it's truly heartbreaking. The bottom line is that we must continue to beef up surveillance, continue to strengthen our regulations, and that's exactly what we're doing at CAB.
Do you expect any new airlift to the Bahamas? We
are in active negotiations with several major airlines around the world, including Emirates. We are hoping for a direct service, but we are in this as an active process, and I've got to tell you, we've been working on this for 2.5 years. We're in active engagement with Qatar Airways. We continue to work with them. We are seeing new airlift by Bahamas Air into Grand Bahama from Florida, going to be announced soon. Bahamas Air is doing an inaugural flight to Montego Bay, Jamaica. And this is more than just bringing traffic in between Jamaica and the Bahamas. We're hoping to leverage the code share partnership agreements that we made with Virgin, for example, who are taking passengers to Jamaica for onward travel, onward seamless travel to the Bahamas. So we are being very strategic about what we're doing. We met with American Airlines on the weekend in Dallas. They continue to be our largest U.S. carrier. And the partnership is very strong. They continue to look at new destinations. They continue to add new service. In Exuma, for example, we have increased airlift to Exuma. Wow. Notwithstanding the temporary closure of Sandals. We've seen a 2% increase commitment for new airlift to Exuma. That truly warmed my heart, and it truly sent a very positive signal about the possibilities for Exuma in tourism, bolstered by the Airbnb and vacation rentals in the absence of the anchor of Sandals. But you asked about airlift, and I'm happy to tell you that we have a team that's actively engaged on this and bringing more and more new carriers. I mentioned Ghana and Nigeria, and we're working with Copa to expand service out of South America as well. But by and large, we have very strong partnerships, and we continue to expand new cities, new flights all across USA and Canada.
Just before we go to the break, Bahamas Air, are you satisfied with what you see happening there?
Bahamas Air is our national carrier, Clint, and every Bahamian, when they're sitting in the airport in Miami or Fort Lauderdale and they see Bahamas Air pull up, there's a overwhelming sense
Oh,
of pride. We all make fun of Bahamas Air from time to time. I used to think it was funny too until I became the minister, quite frankly. But Bahamas Air is doing a great service for our country. We look at the subvention from the government as an economic benefit, as an investment. Yes, we would wish to reduce that subvention, the money that taxpayers are paying to Bahamas Air to provide the service, to cause there to be affordability of tickets from the various family islands.
And that's important for people to understand. They may not know that. That subvention from government allows Bahamas Air to keep those tickets affordable.
So the team is doing a great job. They're doing a great job with limited capacity. We need more planes, and we are actively engaged in the market seeking to get funding and partnership, and hopefully very soon we'll see a new fleet at Bahamas Air. That's our aspiration, because if we do that, we believe that we can make Bahamas Air profitable. We simply do not have the capacity as yet to run more flights from our tourist markets in the USA. And once we're able to expand the fleet and do so in a reasonable deal, we will be able to truly bring Bahamas Air to its full fruition.
We're looking at more destinations in the U.S. from those popular markets like Atlanta.
All across the eastern seaboard is our sweet spot.
So we could possibly see Atlanta, New York, all those major destinations. We can see Bahamas Air going there.
We have carriers at the moment servicing these destinations. If we're able to get the fleet we're looking at, we will be able to travel all across the USA, the West Coast, Canada, South and Central America, as far as Brazil. So we're very positive about the future. But we wanna under-promise at the moment with Bahamas Air. I just wanted to give you a bit of the strategic outlook. I want to say a special thanks to the team at Bahamas Air, who do a good job with very little.
All right, we're going to go to a break, last break. When we come back, we're going to just spice up a bit, talk politics and constituency concerns. We're back after this. This is a rundown.
That's the bear of the Bahamas. I like to go down. Oh yeah.
Hey, what's up, Mario?
Hey, Dale, what's going on?
Have you seen ZNS new digital platforms?
No. Let me go check it out.
Good day, Bahamas. I'm Devontae Hanna, and this is ZNS Digital,
where we cater to your news and entertainment needs. Are you a foodie? I thought so. Then look out for Digital Bites.
Shining a light on Bahamians and the good that they do, ZNS Digital is home to the sunshine one.
Keeping up with the latest trends, our original content will keep you entertained.
Yeah, that's cool.
But have you seen the new website?
No, I didn't see it. Let me go look.
We're still your most trusted source for news and information.
That's ZNS Digital?
Yeah, that's ZNS Digital, the people station in your pocket.
By giving unconditionally, not expecting anything in return, I thought was a wonderful way of showing this love, and I believe that it is love that truly draws people. And so I thought we could cover a lot more people by feeding. Volunteers, you know, they have truly been sold.
My passion is to help, and I thank God for what I can do through the help of Bahamas Feeding Network.
Welcome back to the rundown. My guest tonight has been the acting Prime Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, Chester Cooper. We're talking about the portfolio, and I must say a lot of things going on, and sometimes it's important for us to understand politics aside, that it's important to get information so you understand. And I believe that is our job here at the Broadcasting Corporation, to ensure that people understand what is happening. What is your government doing? What is your administration busy working on? And just getting a report tonight from Mr. Cooper on all of this helps people to understand the work that's taking place, not just in New Providence, but around the archipelago of islands. Sometimes we become very New Providence-centric and think it's all about New Providence and forget there are many islands out there that make up the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and things are happening on these islands to help bring development. And I think this has been a very enlightening discussion tonight to understand where the work is happening and what is to come and so forth. So let's talk a little bit of politics before we close up the show tonight. The administration is halfway, a little more than halfway past its term in office for this term. Are you satisfied and pleased with the direction that the PLP has taken the country?
We've done a great work. Our Prime Minister, a man of great heart, has brought compassion back to government. We reflect on the days before coming to office, the lockdowns and the humiliation of Bahamians, including the press, by the way. Prime Minister Davis has brought a new vision, a new compassion. We've laid out our plan in the Blueprint for Change. We're making steady progress in the delivery of our promise to the Bahamian people. We promised to restore the economy. We promised to rebuild. We promised to revolutionize. On the revolutionizing front, I referenced some of the new innovative pieces of legislation we brought. The Tourism Development Fund, the Tourism Development Corporation, longevity, regenerative medicine, cannabis, land reform, land registry, NIB reform. We've done a lot. We promise social upliftment, and we have significantly spent on the reforms and the funding for social services. We talked about labor and labor relations. We've signed more than 30 of these agreements to harmonize the labor movement environment in our country. We're building new homes. We saw none in the last administration. We're building new homes. We're doing rent-to-own. We have restored the dignity of urban renewal professionals by putting more energy and effort into urban renewal. So yes, we've done significant work. We have 2 more years to go. Our work is not yet complete, but we will continue to press forward. Nation building is very serious business. We will continue to do so in the advancement of tourism, the growth we should continue to see. We will continue to advance Family Island infrastructure, building airports, docks, and schools and roads as we've done. We will continue to address the shantytown issue that we have done under the capable leadership of the Honorable Clay Sweeting. We will continue to bring really compassion to our schools, as we've done with the school breakfast program under the leadership of my colleague from Angliston. We've started to build a new hospital in Grand Bahama under the leadership of Dr. Michael Darville. We've seen a renaissance and new programs and initiatives in Grand Bahama, like Trip Circle, and we have seen the visionary Afro-Caribbean marketplace and the $2 billion of investments in Grand Bahama under the leadership of my colleague, the Minister for Grand Bahama. We're seeing great work being done at BPL and energy reform under the hands of my colleague from Elizabeth, and we are consistently working all across the ministries, all across the board, to ensure that we are delivering on the promise to the Bahamian people in our Blueprint for Change. Yes, there is more to do, and we will continue to work.
Anything you think you need to fix or do better?
One of the things that if it doesn't keep me up at night, I wake up thinking about is the cost of living. We are going to do even more over the course of the next 2 years to hopefully bring some relief in this area. We feel the pain of the Bahamian people. We have increased minimum wage. We're going to look to see how we can produce more locally. For example, in our Golden Yoke program led by my colleague, the Minister of Agriculture, we are going to continue to deploy new strategies, negotiating with shipping lines, etc., to see how we bring more relief in this regard. The Minister for Housing, the Honorable Keith Bell, and his team will continue to build new affordable homes and create new rent-to-own possibilities to ensure that Bahamians have the opportunity to live in comfort and dignity. And then, of course, if we are able over the course of time to reduce the cost of electricity, this is going to be exceedingly impactful in the overall formula of reducing the cost of energy.
We've got 30 seconds left. I want you to address critics who say your seat is at risk in Exuma. Do you feel that way?
Silly season, Clint. Let me tell you that I enjoy great support from the people of Exumas and Ragged Island. I am grateful for the opportunity to serve them. We laid out eVision 2030, and I invite the public to look to see how many of the achievements we have actually ticked off. I invite the people of Exuma and the country to look at the midterm report that we have released. They will see that there's been more than $150 million of new investment in infrastructure. This will be the most investment in infrastructure that we've ever seen in a 5-year period in the modern history of the Bahamas. We have built and opened schools in Stanya Key. Ragged Island is almost complete. We're building airports. We have running water in my hometown, Little Exuma, for the first time in 50 years. We have running water in Baratari. You talked about the roads. We've built more than 35 miles. We have 10 more miles to go. Unemployment levels are exceedingly low. Up to the closure of Sandals, we boasted of full employment, but we have $1.5 billion of new investments as well, all across the islands of Exuma. Some of them are now coming out of the ground. I'm pleased with the work that we have done together with Team Cooper in Exuma. I thank the people for their support. I recognize that the work is not yet complete. We have 2 more years. We will continue to work with the people of Exuma and Ragged Island to deliver on our promise. But I'm serving for the 2nd consecutive term as the Member of Parliament for the island of Exuma. The people know Chester Cooper. They know that I am a man who delivers as best I can on the commitments that we make. I anticipate continuing to be able to do so. The last election, we won by more than 1,100 votes. We won 3-1 over our competitors in the island of Exuma. So we enjoy strong support in Exuma and Ragged Island, and I want the people of Exuma and Ragged Island to judge me by my track record. And I think the truth will prevail. And I invite people to look at the midterm report on my Facebook page, Team Cooper's Facebook page, to see the great work that we're doing for the people of Exumas and Ragged Island. And I thank them for the opportunity to serve them. I will continue to engage with the youth and the community and the church and all of the stakeholders of the community to continue to make Exuma and Ragged Island the envy of the Bahamas.
Oh, thank you. You got an extra 2 minutes because you're the acting Prime Minister. We couldn't cut you. Thank you so much for being here tonight, sir. We appreciate your work and your effort and wish you every success.
Pleasure's mine. I'll come anytime.
All right, thank you. That does it for us. The rundown. All of us here at ZNS News. I'm Clint Watson. Thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to stay tuned to the Bahamas 9/11. Royston Jones. Oh, he's over there. He's already here for the 11 o'clock news. We have the latest in news and information at 11 o'clock live tonight. Have a great night, everyone. Good night.
At Fort Montague, I'm Opal Roach. This is ZNS.